Never split the difference, negotiating as if your life depends on it. By Chris Voss is a practical guide to negotiation based on the author's experience as an FBI hostage negotiator. In this book, Voss distills his hard-earned negotiation tactics and principles into actionable techniques that can be applied in everyday situations, from business dealings to personal relationships. Below is a text summary that highlights the key concepts and strategies discussed in the book. Introduction: The Art of Negotiation. Chris Voss opens by emphasizing that negotiation is not just about business deals, but about navigating everyday interactions and decisions. Whether you're haggling over a salary, resolving a conflict, or closing a high-stakes business deal, understanding negotiation is crucial because it involves influencing human behavior. The main idea behind Voss's approach is that traditional negotiation tactics, like logic, fairness, or compromise, are less effective in real-world scenarios where emotions, biases, and personal stakes are involved. Instead, Voss advocates using psychological tactics grounded in empathy and active listening to gain the upper hand. Chapter 1: The New Rules. The first chapter sets the foundation for Voss's negotiation philosophy by introducing the concept of tactical empathy. This involves truly understanding the feelings and motivations of your counterpart to create a connection and influence their thinking. He dismisses the traditional approach of aiming for a 50-50th compromise, symbolized by splitting the difference, as a flawed strategy that often results in unsatisfactory outcomes for both parties. Key takeaway: great negotiators do not compromise. Instead, they seek to understand and use that understanding to guide the discussion. Chapter 2: Be a Mirror. Mirroring is one of the core techniques Voss introduces early in the book. It involves repeating the last three words, or the most important three words, your counterpart just said in a questioning tone. This simple tactic helps to build rapport, make the other party feel heard, and encourages them to elaborate without feeling pressured. For example, if your counterpart says, "I'm frustrated with the project's progress," you can respond by mirroring, "Frustrated with the project's progress." This prompts them to continue sharing more about their frustrations, giving you valuable insight into their mindset. Application: use mirroring to show you are engaged in the conversation, encouraging the other party to reveal more information that can help you steer the negotiation in your favor. Chapter 3: Don't feel their pain, label it. Labeling is a technique that involves identifying and vocalizing your counterpart's emotions. By stating these emotions aloud, you acknowledge their feelings, which helps to diffuse tension and establish trust. For example, if you sense frustration, you might say, "It seems like you're feeling frustrated." Labeling diffuses negative emotions because it makes the other person feel understood and often encourages them to elaborate on their concerns. Voss emphasizes that it's important not to use the word "I" in labeling because it can make the statement sound selfish or insincere. For example, "I think you're frustrated" can come off as accusatory. Instead, using phrases like "it seems like" or "it sounds like" softens the approach and invites a more open response. Key takeaway: labeling isn't about agreeing with your counterpart. It's about recognizing and validating their emotions to create a pathway for constructive dialogue. Chapter 4: Beware. Yes, Master, No. One of the most counterintuitive lessons in Never Split the Difference is that getting a no can often be more productive than pushing for a yes. Voss explains that people feel safer and more in control when they say no, because it creates a psychological barrier that prevents them from feeling manipulated. Instead of aiming for a yes too soon, Voss suggests asking questions that encourage a no response, such as, "Is now a bad time to talk?" This shifts the dynamic and makes the other person feel empowered. Voss explains that no often serves as the beginning of the negotiation, signaling that the person is comfortable enough to engage. Application: reframe your questions and requests to make it easier for the other person to say no. This opens the door to deeper discussions and avoids premature yeses that can lead to misunderstandings. Chapter 5. Trigger the 2 words that immediately transform any negotiation. The 2 magic words that Voss refers to are, "That's right." When your counterpart says "that's right," it indicates that they feel fully understood. To get to this point, use labeling and mirroring to accurately summarize their viewpoint. When they affirm with, "That's right," it signals a breakthrough where they see you as an ally rather than an adversary. For example, in a salary negotiation, if the other party is concerned about budget constraints, you might say, "It sounds like you're worried about stretching the team's budget too thin, and you want to make sure you can retain top talent." When they respond with, "That's right," it shows you've pinpointed their true concern, building trust and setting the stage for a collaborative resolution. Key takeaway: getting a "that's right" shows that you've gained an emotional commitment from your counterpart, making it easier to propose your solution. Chapter 6. Bend their reality. In high-stakes negotiations, altering your counterpart's perception of reality can be a game changer. Voss introduces the concept of the loss aversion effect. People are more motivated to avoid losses than to achieve gains. This means that framing your offer around what the other party stands to lose, rather than what they could gain, can be more persuasive. Another powerful tool in this chapter is the Ackerman model, a systematic approach to making offers. 1. Set your target price. 2. Make your first offer at 65% of your target. 3. Calculate 3 raises, going up incrementally: 85%, 95%, and finally 100%. 4. Use empathy and tactical labeling at each step to soften your stance. 5. Offer a non-monetary item that your counterpart values at the end to show flexibility. Key takeaway: use precise strategic concessions and frame your offers to appeal to your counterpart's desire to avoid losses. Chapter 7. Create the illusion of control. One of the most powerful strategies Voss shares is called the calibrated question. These are open-ended questions that begin with how or what, and they're designed to make your counterpart think deeply about their own position. For instance, questions like, "What makes this offer work for you?" or "How am I supposed to do that?" put the burden on the other person to come up with solutions. Calibrated questions give the other party the illusion of control while subtly steering the conversation in your desired direction. They also encourage your counterpart to empathize with your position, making them more likely to consider your needs. Application: use calibrated questions to keep your counterpart engaged and to gather information without sounding confrontational. Conclusion: bargain hard and stay emotionally balanced. Never split. The difference is not about winning at all costs, but about using empathy, rapport building, and subtle psychological tactics to navigate complex human dynamics. Voss's methods show that effective negotiation is less about what you say and more about how you listen, label emotions, and ask the right questions. By mastering these techniques, you can become a more confident and effective negotiator in any situation, ensuring that you never have to settle for splitting the difference again.